There's a category of software that exists for one reason. Someone needed to put a form on top of a database and charge you monthly for the privilege. Project trackers, CRM tools, expense management, content calendars, inventory systems, simple ticketing tools. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like you've paid for at least three of them, and every single one of them is dead. They just don't know it yet. Because here's what's actually happening right now. METR, which is a nonprofit that benchmarks how long AI agents can do autonomous work before failing, measured Claude Opus 4.5 completing 4 hours and 45 minutes of continuous human equivalent work at a 50% success rate. And this was in January of 2026. That number is doubling every 4 to 4.5 months. That means that by the end of next month, you're looking at 10 hours. By the end of the year, potentially 40 plus. So I want you to think about that SaaS tool you're paying for. The one where the entire product surface is fill in some fields, press save, look at a table. How many hours of work did it take a developer to build that? How many hours would it take an agent to rebuild it for your exact use case? 2 hours, maybe three, if you want to make it pretty. Let me be specific about what I mean by thin software, because I'm not talking about everything. I'm not talking about Figma. I'm not talking about your database engine. I'm not talking about your auth provider or your payment processor. Those are deep, complex systems that took years of engineering to get right and carry enormous amounts of accumulated trust and infrastructure. I'm talking about the stuff that's just a schema and some CRUD. Create, read, update, delete. The software whose entire value proposition is that someone else already built the form. You know what the actual product is in most of these tools? It's the data model. Someone sat down, thought about what fields a sales contact needs, and then built a form around it, wired up some email notifications, slapped on a Kanban view, and called it a product. And that's not a moat. That's a weekend project that became a business because building software used to be hard. It isn't anymore. I've seen 7 agents running in production while I have them right now. Real work, real clients, real money moving through these systems. And the pattern I keep seeing is this. The tools that feel the most replaceable are the ones where the agent is the tool. It's not using the SaaS, it's doing the work the SaaS was abstracting. Think about what a CRM actually does. It stores contact info, it tracks interactions, it reminds you to follow up. It moves deals through stages. That's it. Every single one of those functions is something an agent can do directly in your actual workflow. No separate login, no data migration, no trial, your trial has ended emails, just the work done, logged, tracked, wherever you actually live. Now, here's what it gets uncomfortable for a lot of people. The OpenAI API moved from REST to WebSockets. The technical reason is that every tool call in an agentic workflow was actually resending the entire conversation history back to the server, like full context every time. So a single agent working through a complex task would be sending megabytes of data for a response that's 8 words long. The WebSocket move fixes this. So state persists at the connection level. The agent isn't starting from scratch every tool call. Why does this matter for thin software? It's because the technical friction of building reliable agents just dropped. Again, the infrastructure is getting better, faster than the software companies built on top of the old model can adapt. While your project management SaaS is still shipping improvements to the notification center, the underlying capability that makes it possible to just not use them at all is compounding at a rate those companies just can't match. And they know it. Well, some of them do, anyways. The smart ones are pivoting to AI native workflows. Like they're adding chatbots, they're slapping AI labels on features that are basically just autocomplete. That's not a pivot. That's a rebrand on a sinking ship. The ones that will survive are the ones with genuine network effects. Like your data lives there, your clients live there, your integrations live there. Switching cost is the real moat, not the software itself. But for new projects, like for new companies standing up internal tooling, for consultants helping clients build workflows, why the hell would you pay $200 a month for a tool that an agent can replace with a script that lives in your code base that you own, that is customized exactly to how your team actually works, and that doesn't have a pricing page? Like I shipped something for someone 2 weeks ago, and it's like I replaced a tool they'd been paying $400 a month for. The agent built replacement is better, like it does things the SaaS couldn't do because the SaaS wasn't built for their exact process. It was built for the average of everyone's process. That's the thing people miss. These tools are built for the median use case. An agent builds for your use case right now in context. Here's the counter argument I want to address directly because I hear it all the time. But Simon, these tools have years of polish. They have support teams. They have uptime SLAs. You can't just vibe code a replacement and call it production ready. Think about what that argument is actually saying. It's saying the value is in the wrapper, not the function. It's saying you're paying for the comfort of not having to think about it, but not for the actual capability. I think that was a reasonable trade when building was hard and when it was genuinely a 6-month project to build a decent internal tool. Yeah, pay for the SaaS. The economics totally made sense. Now, a competent person with agents running can stand up a custom solution in hours that's probably more tailored, less expensive, and doesn't come with a terms of service that lets the vendor train on your data. Like the argument for the SaaS made sense when building was the constraint. Building isn't the constraint anymore. The meter numbers just prove that this isn't a vibe. It's got directionality. Its agents are now at almost 10 hours. And they're doubling every 4 months. Like you don't have to be a mathematician to see where that line goes. And the skills question is real. Like the people who are learning right now how to assign agents meaningful multi-hour work are building a compounding advantage that latecomers won't be able to close. Not because the tools will be too expensive, but it's just the judgment about what to build and how to direct it takes time to develop. That's not hype. That's just how skill curves work. There's a story you can tell about software where the interesting layer just keeps moving up in the stack. It used to be that setting up a server was the hard part. But then infrastructure kind of commoditized. Then building a front end was really the hard part. Then component libraries and frameworks ate that. Then product logic was the hard part. And now the agents are eating the product logic. What's left? Judgment, taste, domain knowledge, like the ability to look at what an agent produced and know whether it's actually right, not just whether it runs. That's the part that doesn't get automated. Like a lawyer who really knows which clauses actually matter in the context of a case, or the operator of who really understands, or the analyst who really understands the data patterns and what it actually means for the business. The person who looks at the agent's output and says, this is technically correct and completely wrong for what we need. That's where the value is concentrating. I find it's concentrating fast. The SaaS companies that are pure thin software, they're sitting in the middle of this story in the worst possible position. They're not infrastructure, so they can't go down the stack. And they're not judgment either, so they can't go up the stack. They're just a form on top of a database, and the agents just don't need the form. I don't think this will be a slow death. I don't think it'll take decades. The doubling rate on autonomous agent work is 4 months. The entire category of thin SaaS has maybe 2 to 3 doubling cycles before the economics start breaking. So that's this year, maybe 2027. That's not a prediction about 2030. It's happening right now while these companies are still posting LinkedIn updates about their Series B. The consultants I'm working with who get this are already repositioning. They're not, we help you use AI tools. That's still thin. It's more, we build the actual system for your process using agents and you own it. That's the pitch that lands right now. Because the client's burning $2,000 a month on 5 different SaaS tools that each do just one thin thing. And they know somewhere in their gut that it's wasteful, that they didn't have an alternative that felt real. And now they do. The thing about infrastructure transitions is that everyone can see them coming and almost nobody moves in time. Right now, there are thousands of SaaS companies whose entire product is something an agent will rebuild from scratch in a 2-hour session. The founders aren't stupid. The teams aren't lazy. They just built the right product for the world that existed when they started. That world is done. Not done like struggling, done like the graph has no ceiling and it's doubling every 4 months. At 40 hours of sustained autonomous agent work, there is no version of we track your tasks in a nice table that justifies a monthly subscription. The software that survives is the software that either goes deep enough that the agent needs it or goes broad enough that the network effects are the product. Everything in the middle is just a database with a form on top. And your agent will write that form this afternoon.